Hello, worldies, and welcome back to my naughty little channel. I hope, I'm hoping and praying that you are having an amazing day. I'm also hoping and praying that my AC in the background is not too bothersome, just because I've tried to record without my AC on before, but I tend to be long winded. So I'm like, by the end, my whole house is just very hot. So I can't, I'm fingers crossed. If you guys are hearing this, then it ended up being okay. But I know I've been gone for a little while. I'm not sure when you guys will hear this from when I recorded it, but I've been outside. But I want to talk today about decentering men. And you know, I guess I'll just start at the beginning. The first point that I would like to make is that to all of the women who are extremely offended and triggered by this type of content, by this topic and this conversation, I want you to know that decentering men is a verb, it is a journey, it is a process. And so every creator that makes content about decentering men, none of us are asserting that we came out of the womb decentered from men and that we are just morally superior to you and like you are beneath us. I've never gotten that vibe from any decentering men content that I've ever seen. Every creator, typically, if they're talking about an experience with a deep level of knowledge, it's because they've been on the other side. And so, especially when it comes down to things like breaking down the psychology of certain things about how women think, it's because the creator, their self, has potentially thought like that at a time and has shifted. And so I'm hoping that this content is valuable and inspiring because it's like you're not doomed to center men for the rest of your life. If you hear this type of content and you're like, wow, there's another way to live, you don't have to feel, left out or left behind or whatever. Because, a lot of us, we used to center men too. And so we can actually kind of walk you through how to get to a different type of space. Sorry, I just needed a sip of water. But, so that's the first point I want to make. The second thing that I want to talk about is just some observations that I've made lately where I just want to say, like, something that I think is really interesting is how I've been recently talking about the idea that women who center men end up centering decentered women. And this is something that I kind of have been noticing in my life and observing is like, I've noticed this both with women who choose to date and be decentered while they're dating and women who choose to take a break from dating. I've noticed that women who maybe are dustily married, dustily partnered, and they center men, they feel like they will put dating and men on your radar constantly. Like they keep trying to put them, like they're always trying to ship you with somebody. They're always trying to set you up with somebody. They're always trying to say, oh, I have a somebody. Like they kind of project how much of their identity is wrapped up in men onto you. And so if you're not talking about men, or I've noticed like if it's easy for you to cut men, like I've noticed like with some women who are like they center men so much, it's like just every time there is a man, they're just very, very activated. They're very responsive to his presence. It shifts how they talk, how they walk, how they move, how they act, how they see themselves. A lot of them, they see themselves through the eyes of men. And so it's very hard for them to imagine that you would be living life and going through a day and feeling fulfilled and achieving your dreams, your goals, and I guess kind of just not being pressed about men in the sense that I'm so pressed over men that I will date literally any man. I'm so pressed that I will talk to any man. Where it's like I kind of have this sneaking suspicion where I feel as though like they want I'm trying to figure out how to say this, like how to word it. It's like, if you are not pressed about dating, then they can't, like, they don't feel like they're getting, their pedestal. Especially if they're the type of woman who centers men and she's settled. A lot of women, it can be very hard for them if they get the sense that their partner, and I believe I've said this before, but that their partner would not be valuable to you, or like, I've noticed women who, you know what, I don't understand this, because it's like, I thought everybody, typically people who are monogamous, you know, you want to be the only one with your partner. You want your partner to only be with you. And I understand that people don't want a partner that nobody else wants, but I've noticed that when you're the woman on the pedestal, those other women, they need your approval specifically. Like, they need to prove that their man is valuable to you specifically. They need you to want their man. And it's really hard, because it's like, because of the fact that, like, I just think that you get a lower quality of man by centering men, because I think just my views of womanhood and manhood and masculine and feminine energy, like, I just feel as though, that's just my opinion, like, I don't even know how to word it, in the sense that I don't want a man who wants me to center him. Like, those types, just that in and of itself, like, I think of manly masculine men being the type of men who want to exalt and worship the feminine. When you see all of these men who want to turn women into wife slaves, they want to turn them into workhorses, they want to, you know, just kind of have her do so much free labor and stuff like that, just not the type of man that I'm attracted to in general. Like, I guess they're like the validation, I guess I'm not validation starved enough that I can be attracted to somebody who looks at me as like a machine or an appliance. And I can't say that for the majority, like, or I can't say that I can't say that for the majority. I'm not saying that for the majority of relationships. I'm not saying that for all relationships. I am saying that I see that in relationships where women are centering men. Because if you're centering men, and then you've gotten into a relationship, that means that now within your partnership, you have established a dynamic in which he is being admired by you perpetually. Like, that is his role. His role is to be served by you. His role is to be the receiver of your labor. And when it comes to how I view masculine and feminine energy, I just don't see it as masculine for a man to be having you do all of these things. And like, I don't mean like you can't do adult things, like everybody just has to do the adult things that they have to do, but like, to me, like, it drives me, like, nothing drives me out faster than a man trying to basically make a woman have to prove her point as to why she deserves him to do something for her. Like, when I see those videos about, oh, I'll do this for my woman if you outside world give this 1,000,000 likes, like, it's just nauseating. It makes me want to literally, like, I'm revolted by that. I cannot believe that exists in the world. It's so sick. I shouldn't say that I can't believe it exists, because of course with duality you're going to have the full spectrum of, you know, men who are masculine and men who are very much not, you know. And I think that a lot of times in relationships where the woman is centering men, it's like they have this weird and kind of convenient way of defining what is masculine and what is feminine, where if it serves the man, then, like, for example, they will say things like, you know, getting to be in charge, getting to be the leader, getting to dominate, you know, of course, that is going to be masculine because it allows him to do the things that he wants to do. He wants to be in charge. He wants to be loud. He wants to be, you know, head honcho. But then with the woman, which feminine energy is receiving, all of a sudden it becomes feminine to not be the receiver, but to be the outputter, to be the giver, to be the one who's doing all of the labor, all of the action, all of the things. And I cannot wrap my head around how it flips to, you know, like, I understand the whole, like, oh, feminine caretaking, but caretaking is also labor. Like, that's also work, to be taking care of a whole grown person, like a grown person. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right in my spirit and in my soul. And it is frustrating to be around women who they're living in this really weird dynamic where it just seems like a very anxious dynamic. I've seen content recently about attachment styles. It seems very it makes me anxious to think about having to center a man. Like, when the women are trying to argue in support of centering men, and then they're like, oh yeah, men have not centered you, and that's why you have to decenter men. I'm like, you sound like an anxious person. You want to talk about attachment styles, you sound anxious about centering a man. Like, a man, like, there are so many things to center that would not give me as much anxiety as opposed to a man. Like, these men out here, because I know some really amazing and great men, but I feel like just on a daily basis I see men do, like, things to me that are absolutely unacceptable and horrendous. And I think a lot of women who center men, and they're always trying to be like, oh, not all men, and which I also don't believe that is not, or I also don't believe that it's all men, but the women who are so gung-ho on trying to, like, I feel like for me, just as a person who understands basic math and statistics, because I feel like there are ones that exist that are good and ones that exist that are not good, it makes me okay with the odds of, like, if he looks like, if I can clearly see that he looks like the type of man that I would be settling to be with, like, I don't understand. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, I don't have the same scarcity mindset where I feel as though this one man that's in front of me right here, who is subpar and mediocre and has hit the wall, is not faithful, you know, has a beer belly, he's not good with finances, he's addicted to whatever, he has anger issues, he has a terrible family, or he has a family that he allows to disrespect you. Like, I need a man so bad for validation that this one, with all of his problems, this man who has so many traits that I would not feel like are acceptable traits for me to have, I gotta be with him. Like, I just don't. Why? It makes me sad that women feel like that, because I just feel like you should treat yourself in a way that you can social climb into a spot where you feel like that and the outside world reflects back to you that you deserve more than that. Like, I just feel like as a person who cares about your own self-development, being a good person, and not being a good person in the sense of, like, trying to be Mother Teresa, but achieving your goals, doing what you're passionate about, why would I add a man to my life who's not, like, I don't admire? Like, so many women, they don't actually admire the men that they're with. And I understand why. Like, a lot of women, their man. And their man, like, I sometimes it's like, oh my God. Sometimes their man and they don't know their man. And it's not saying that, like, oh, you're trying to get to know their man, but it's like, men are just out here existing and making a fool of themselves every damn day and embarrassing themselves and their entire families, every day. And I'm like, do y'all know these men? Like, do you know, like, these men? Which men are y'all talking about? And I definitely agree with a talking point that so many women, if they cannot get princess treatment or they cannot get a pedestal outside of relationship, outside of partnership, they will try to settle for some man and try to, get the best that they can get out of him, and they end up trying to convince this man to do things. Because I will see the men who will say, oh, I'll do this for you if you can get this post or if you can get this post to 1 million likes. But I also see women who do this too. Like, I don't want to be with a man where I have to, I know he doesn't want to do something for me. I know he doesn't want to serve me. He doesn't want to, I guess to some people it sounds bad to say worship, but I don't know. I don't have any issue with that. Like, do you guys not see the feminine existing in this world and how divine and beautiful it is? I feel like it's just, like, actually, like, natural order for the feminine to be exalted, for the feminine to be worshipped. It just makes way more sense. Because look at this heathenistic world, where I don't know what the word is, hedonistic or heathenistic, but this world that we're living in is what it looks like when you're exalting the masculine, when you're exalting, this dominance, this warring and whatnot, this type of energy. It's literally sick, and you see it all day, every day. Look at the Diddy situation. All of this toxic masculinity is because, I feel like in at least Western society, a lot of us are programmed to feel like girls are bad. Like, when you see those videos where it's like, oh, show me what it looks like to run like a girl. And, what becomes, what they act out is being incompetent, unskilled, not athletic, not good at the thing, being whiny, not being serious. But in all actuality, that's not what it means to run like a girl. That's just conditioning that a lot of people have had. And so often when it comes to the women who are arguing for centering men, I hate to break it to you, but there's nothing feminine about centering men. There's nothing feminine about settling for a man who's mid, who's chopped. There's nothing feminine about centering your whole life around a gambling, cheating, man with issues and demons that he's facing every day, and he's losing the battle. Like, I just feel like the men that you are attracting, not just, physically, but the men that you're going to energetically match up with when you want to center men, what type of man wants a woman who is supposed to be a precious, beautiful, soft thing? How can you be soft and you are doing all of this labor for this man? You are giving and giving and giving. So many of these archetypes and, these standards that we have for what it takes to be a good woman, it's not a feminine woman. It's not a soft woman. It is a woman who is tired, who is stressed out, who's angry, who's resentful, who's probably overweight. She's probably not maintaining herself. And I just don't understand why it's so. I don't understand why it's so. Why is it looked at as so defiant for women to actually want to be feminine and to actually want to be soft? Because let me tell you something. These women who are centering men, they are some rough women. They are some nasty women. It's not giving feminine. It's not feeling I have a juicy life. It's not giving I love life and I'm so happy. It's giving I'm depressed. It's giving I'm overweight and I'm a big back. It's giving I eat food to cope. It's giving I'm experiencing cognitive dissonance because on Monday my man is Superman. On Tuesday I hate everything about this man. Like, so many women, it's so common for them to be like shitting on their men, and it's not because they just are complaining women. It's because, well, like, low-key it is because they're complaining women, because it's like, me, I would have left that man. Like, I don't believe that there's a way to vet men perfectly, but I feel like once he's like, you can leave though. And I'm not gonna say anything for I'm not the type of girl to shame a woman for the time that she stayed. But if in the time that you're staying, you're taking out all of your depression and your anger and your misery on the pretty girl in your life, that's me most of the time, yes, then I'm gonna have an issue with you. Like, nobody told you to be with that dusty ass man. Nobody told you to stay with that dusty ass man. And it's like, I have so much sympathy for the women where it's like they're with the man and they're miserable and their misery is not bothering me and it's not touching me. But so often these women seek you out because with your hypervisibility, everybody can see you. And so many of the situations in your life with other humans, because we are social beings, they have to do with how certain archetypes of people feel and react to seeing you. Everybody sees you, but you can break everybody up into certain groups. So we can talk about the archetype of the person who will support you, the person who sees you, they think positive things about you, they want to add positivity to you. They want to build community, sisterhood, friendship. They want to invest in you. If it's a man, a positive type of man, it will be he wants to, make your life easier or softer. He wants to expose you to things that you've never seen before. He wants to take you to places. He wants to give you joy, and he wants you to feel glee and whatnot. And then when you have your hater archetypes, those are the people who they see you, and a lot of times they're experiencing cognitive dissonance when they see you, and their inner chaos, their inner confusion, all of the things that they see you and they feel, those are going to impact how they treat you, how they actually act towards you. And so you have these very fun situations that come up, where you're just existing and you're hypervisible and you're being perceived by a miserable bitch. Everybody loves being perceived by a miserable bitch, right? Because she just adds so much positivity to your life. No, she just wants to neg you. And it's crazy because it's like, we talk about decentering men, but we also have to decenter miserable bitches. Like, I'm sorry, but You cannot endlessly complain to me about the same problem that you're doing nothing to change. I'm sorry, you just can't. I just don't have that type of mentality. Um, I don't know if I'm just like too much of a self starter. I don't know if it's my personality type. I don't know if it's just how I'm cut, how I'm built. And I haven't been like this forever, you know? But the type of person that I am now, I will at least say, once I identify the problem, we just live in, we, oh, Jesus. Mm. Mm. We're just living in 2025. I just live in a first world country. I'm just, you know, I don't, people, so many people, like, they really are blind to their privileges. Like, we have so much technology, and other people are using the technology to get rich. Other people are using the technology to exploit you. Why not? Why not? Why not just use the internet? Why not just use the technology to your advantage? We are so blessed and privileged that we live in a world where, oh, you want to lose weight? Guess what? There are a million apps for that. There are a million free articles about that. There are a million people documenting their journeys on YouTube for free that you can watch for free. You can literally have a free nutritionist through YouTube. You can have a free personal trainer through YouTube. Free workout classes through YouTube. We have ChatGPT. We have Google. We have Pinterest. And especially like ChatGPT, when you really learn how to I'm every day learning new things that you can do with ChatGPT. We just live like, I don't know. I am totally that type of person who can be a bit paranoid about, oh my God, the robots are going to take over. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, the technology is here. And like, what am I going to do? Am I going to like make everybody stop developing technology because I'm afraid of robots taking over one day? No, I'm going to like exploit the technology as much as I can. I'm going to use this phone and this recording tool that is freely installed onto my phone, and YouTube, which is free to post on. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use ChatGPT. I have a free ChatGPT plan right now, but it is so worth it to subscribe. So I'm going to do that soon. I'm probably going to do that before the end of this week. I'm going to end up subscribing to ChatGPT because the free version is way too valuable for me to not see the value in the paid version. Like, yo, this is amazing. But I can't be around those people who want to complain about something forever. Like, forever. Like, I understand we all have a day, we all have a week, we have a season, we have a year. You know what I'm saying? I've had months where it was like, that was not my month. I've had weeks where it was like, that was not my week, that was not my day. I've had entire years where I was like, yo, that year was wild. Like, that year could have broke me, but it didn't. I cannot believe I'm still here because that year was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a real human, I'm a real person who's been through things and everything. And, you know, every day that you thought you wouldn't make it through and you're like still alive and you're still here, guess what? You made it through that day. So if you could make it through that day, close your eyes right now and think about the worst day of your life. What did that day feel like? Do you remember how you felt like, oh, this is it? Whatever it was, you felt like you were so in trouble. You felt like you were so depressed. You felt like you were so broke. You felt like you were so heartbroken. Whatever it was. And then no matter what it was, maybe you thought somebody was going to hurt you. Maybe you thought you were going to hurt yourself. You made it through that day though, because we're all grown here. Mental health is a real thing. We all are fighting battles that people don't see. And when you're the pretty girl, you can still be fighting a battle. Yeah, a lot of people who pedestalize you, they don't understand that, yes, there is real things that everybody else can't necessarily see that you're fighting, that you're battling, that you've been through. A lot of us, we don't look like what we've been through, but we've made it through. So if you made it through that day that you thought was going to break you, that was the stick that was breaking the camel's back. But you're still here. How long ago was that day? Was it yesterday? Was that your day? Was it a week ago? Was it 2022? Was it 2017? Was it 2005? How many days have you made it through since the day that you thought you wouldn't make it through any more days? Has it been 10 years? Because, according to my demographics on my channel, for some of us, your day like that could have been 10 years ago. You thought you couldn't make it through a decade ago, and you made it through a decade's worth of more days. And in between then and there, you had a lot of days where it was almost as bad as that. It wasn't that bad, but whatever it was, whether it was a decade, a week ago, you made it through. You're still here, right? You're with me. You're listening to this. Okay. So if you can make it through the day that you thought was going to break you, the hardest day of your life, why can you not social climb? Why can you not solve your problem? Why can you not lose the weight? Why can you not heal from that thing? Why can you not learn this skill? If you made it through that day, that's just how I think. I made it through that so I can learn French. Because I made it through that. Why can I not learn French? Yes, I can decide to social climb and shapeshift into a whole new person who don't speak to nobody. Why not? I made it through that day. I could be whatever the fuck I want to be. I could be whoever the fuck I want to be. I can do whatever I put my mind to. And that's the type of energy and wavelength that I like to be on. I love being around that type of women, like whether it's online, whether it's in real life, those women who are like, oh yeah, we fall and we get back up. And I love talking about goals and what we're building and how we're social climbing and how we're healing, how we're changing, how we're thriving. I love that. And those women who, understand that feeling of people look at me, they see all this pedestal, they see all of this pretty, all of this, petite, hourglass, slim, thick, whatever however you're looking, whatever the things it is that people tend to envy on you. They see long hair, yellow bone, pretty hair, thick, pretty face, everything about you that people tend to envy, whether it's your eyes, it's your hair texture, it's your skin tone, it's your skills, it's your personality. People see those things and they don't see all the things that you've been through. But when you're around that archetype of woman who sees you, she perceives you due to your hypervisibility, and she sees you. She sees herself in you. She says, oh, you're gonna get me. And, sometimes your radar is a little off. Sometimes, I've had situations where I see a girl and I assume, oh yeah, you a baddie, I'm a baddie, but it's not always that simple. You have to understand somebody's energy and their mindset and whatnot. How do they feel about money? How do they feel about their race? How do they feel about the country that they live in? You can learn a lot from people, just from those simple things. How do they feel about politics? Because there are so many ways to feel about anything, right? But I feel like there is a fundamental similarity between people who kind of focus on the things that they can control and people who more so have a victimhood mentality. People who have that mindset where it's like, I'm poor, I'm always going to be poor. I'm broke, I'm always going to be broke. The system, capitalism, I'm always going to be at the bottom. Oh, racism, I'm always going to be at the bottom. It's always going to hold me back from blah, 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 blah. It's always the reason I'm rejected. It's always the reason I'm not included. It's always the reason I didn't get the job, didn't get the guy. They're looking. They have this inner wiring to where in their life story, they are the loser. They are the last one chosen. They are the one who never wins. That is their story. And you can't be around people like that, because that type of mentality that creates these miserably married ass women who, in their story, their man is competent all the time. Their man is bad with the money all the time. Their man is neglectful all the time. Their man has a wandering eye all the time. And that's just their story. That's their story is such that this is just normal. I'm tired all the time. That man keeps literally throwing his socks 2 inches away from the hamper. And that's my story. For 30 years, I got to put up with that. The next 30 years of my life. I want to go to Cancun, but my man wants to go to New York City. That's my life. I'm never going to go to Cancun. Like, that is one of the dustiest things I've perceived lately is when it comes to things like food. Like, oh, my man doesn't want to eat that, doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to take me there, so I'm not experiencing it. Travel. Oh, my man doesn't want to go there, so I'm not going there. Like, it's so wild to me. And, like, it's not super foreign to the point where it's like I said, oh, I've always decentered men, and so I can't even fathom that exists in the world. But I think when you're on the other side and you get out of that mentality and you get really far on your decentering men journey, and I don't mean like, oh, it's a competition or whatever. I just feel like it's kind of like a spectrum. Is spectrum the word I want to use? Maybe, where it's just you're learning. Like, when I say decentering men, I don't feel like there is a destination. I don't feel like there is a spot that you get to and you're like, check, I have decentered them. I think that when you remove men from the center of your world, I think you get to actually have an identity. You get to actually be a person. You can have men not be the center of your life and still be married. And I feel like 9 times out of 10, if I meet a woman and she is decentered from men and she is partnered, I think I personally just stereotype her man as being higher quality. I'm like, when I meet a woman and she's not miserable and she's not always, trying to nag me or whatever, when I have positive experiences with a woman who is partnered, like a slew of those positive experiences, I never feel like I feel like she just doesn't fit into that archetype of the, those negative, depressed all the time, just miserable, the next 40 years of my life are going to be miserable with this guy type of women. I look at the guy in a higher esteem, I guess, because I'm not the type of person where I feel as though if you have a certain type of relationship with a man, that means that you have to be male-centered. I don't believe that. I don't believe that all married women are male-centered. I don't believe that all women who are in long-term boyfriend-girlfriend relationships are male-centered. I don't feel like every woman who is, dating or anything like that, I don't just think that that's the case. I meet people, and I observe things and I react to, I form opinions about what must be going on in their life when I'm not around them based on the actions they choose to take towards me when they're perceiving me. So when there's a woman who is very invested in my bedroom life, because I've noticed that with some women who maybe they're in a relationship where the smex is either non-existent or bad or something, I feel like they start to try to distract themselves from what they got going on there or what they don't have going on there. Then they're concerned with what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, who I'm doing it with. And it's like, can you get from between my legs, please? Like, ma'am, I promise it's not that kind of party. But I'll be around my friends and I'm like, yo, I've literally been like, I don't think I've ever like discussed this specifically with my friends. Maybe I should bring this up to them. But it's something that I perceive that when like maybe I'm out with them, like, or if we're in a co-ed setting, or if we're around, women who are male centered and like dustily married, or, miserably partnered, they seem to be hella concerned with what we have going on. And it's like very weird. It's giving, it's literally like how people, how like with celebrities, they're always keeping up with like, oh, so and so slid into so and so's DMs. So and so, they unfollowed each other. She's with this guy. She was spotted at lunch with this guy. She was, where did, like, it's literally like that. And it's creepy because it's like, I don't care about what you got going on. And it's, I don't know, it's like, it's really weird how I imagine it must be how like people who don't have kids feel when parents who have no identity outside of their children keep bringing up their kid like every 2 seconds, where it's like you're not asking about their kid but they just always want to tell you about their kid. It's like, it's at a certain point it's like cute, but it's like, especially because like you don't have your own kid that you're talking about all the time, you're kind of like, oh, you like talk about your kid a lot, like your kid's kind of like your whole life. Okay, it's kind of like that when you're decentered from men and you're in whatever that looks like from you, whether you are married and your husband is just not the center of your life, if you have a boyfriend and he's just like not the center of your life, if you're dating and you're dating hypergamously or whatnot, they're just not the center of your life. I feel like in general having standards to some of these women is like, because they were so thirsty for the male validation, they're like, what do you mean you don't date this type of, they're like, what do you mean you don't date this type of man? What do you, like, all of these men over here you don't date? It's like, yeah, no, I don't. Like, it's so weird to me where it's like, because I'm decentered from men, that doesn't mean I don't date. That isn't like, come on. I'm still a grown woman, still have needs, all that good stuff. Still love to flirt. I love the boys. Like I do love them. You know what I'm saying? They're just at the center of my life. And that's how I like them, because I feel like they're just not the center of my life. So it's like I get to be around men and hold the standard that I'm only going to devote time to men that I actually genuinely enjoy, which is why I can confidently say like, oh, I love boys, like the boys that I decide are worth my time. Like, oh yeah, they're awesome, they're great, they're delicious. And I'm able to feel it. So like I feel like even that could be different, to where like your experiences with men, not saying you've never had bad experiences, but it's like I feel like with them it's very much more so like you just put up with it. You just like I've been in I remember being in this situation before where I met this girl, like I was friends with this girl, and she had like started talking to this guy. Like I think somebody set her up with a guy or whatever, like somebody in like our broader friend group or something, and they like start talking, and they they do the do. And I guess the man after that, because like they did the do super quick, and I'm not gonna like, hey, more power to your girl, but that's just the fact of the situation. They got to it, and like right after that he just started blowing her off, like not getting back to her. And I remember the craziest thing about it was like the girl, she was like having me look at her text messages, and I saw that she was like sending him pictures of herself like with barely anything on. Like she was like, they were like smexting and whatnot, and I'm like, well, I don't think the guy was sending stuff back. I just remember, because it wasn't something I was supposed to see, it was something that I accidentally see. I just remember seeing her tits, and I was like, oh, and it was like the guy had some girl that I think was his ex, and he decided that he was, after he had smashed the girl that I was friends with, he basically was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for a relationship. And he basically started talking to my friend about this other girl that was his ex or something who like was saying that she wanted to give him another chance. And it wasn't like he was like, hey, this happened, this woman contacted me, this is what happened, I let her know, like, hey, I don't know. He like was stringing her along for like a decent amount of time, and I think, I'm trying to remember if he like went and started smashing the other girl for a little bit, and she like wasn't talking to anybody else in that time. And to me, and she was like wondering like, oh, what's he doing, what's he thinking, oh my god, blah blah blah, like stressing out. And I'm like, to me it's wild. Like, I could tell, you know, looking back, obviously the girl ended up not being able to be my friend for a very long time because I couldn't be around that type of energy for, I just couldn't, because I'm like, so you mean to tell me that you want him to be your man, and he basically is like, no, I can't be your man, I have to go smash her, and you're sending him your tits for free? Like, it was really confusing because it's like they had not gone on a date from what I understand. I'm trying to think back, did they go on a date? I don't even think he had took her on one date. I don't even think he had spent one red cent on her. And she was sending him titty pics for free. It's wild to me because it's like, I remember that she had like bad feelings about like OnlyFans girls and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so you have an issue with, you're over here miserable about a man who is getting his pee-pee wet up in somebody else, and you're sending him your titty pics for free, and you are mad at the girl who's like not sending free titty. Like, I just don't understand. I'm like, you're doing it for free, so why do you have an issue with her making money off of it? It's like, nobody told you that you have to do it for free, so why do you feel like she has to not get her bag because you choose to not get your bag off of your like, I don't know if that's ever going to, like, that's the oldest profession, babe. I don't know what to tell you. Like, unless you're gonna start like some special task force that's going to end the oldest profession in the world, it's not going anywhere. So that's why I'm never gonna understand when women want to shame other women for monetizing off of their sexuality. I'm like, women have been doing that for forever because men have created the market for that for forever. So tell men to dry up the market, and then there, even women who want to do that, you can't force men to, you know, buy that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, or you can't force them to buy it. You can't make them buy it. So it's like, if they decide they're not buying, then you can't sell it. You can be selling it, but you wouldn't have anybody to sell it to. The only reason that you have somebody to sell it to is because they're looking for you to sell it. They're like, okay, oh my god, I just don't understand. Like, but I remember with that girl, I remember being like, girl, you know, like, you don't have to be like miserable waiting on this man who's like not your man, who's like actively smashing another girl, like, and disrespecting you and like making you like kind of insane. You know that, like, in this time, like, you don't if you don't want to like cut him off, you don't want to block him or whatever, you don't want to say, oh, I'm never going to talk to you again, and you don't want to, like, I didn't say like, oh, get that self-respect to leave him alone, but you know, if you want to keep dealing with him, you just can deal with somebody else. Like, you know, you wouldn't be cheating on the man who's smashing this other woman, if you decided to, if you want to go smash somebody else. I mean, you just smashed him, so you could, you know, you could just talk to another guy. You don't have to be stressed out. Like, this man is literally smashing another girl as we speak, as you are talking to me about this. You could swipe. You could like go out to a place and allow somebody to approach you. You could just live your life and not be stressed about this guy who is not your man, not cheating on you, but got your goodies and said, okay, but I'm gonna go get some of her goodies for however long. And it's like, for one, I couldn't wrap my mind around the fact that, I remember when I told her like, oh, you know, you don't have to, and she was like, she basically said something to the effect of like, how she felt like, oh no, that would make her a certain type of girl. And I'm like, but you're whining about this guy. He's a certain type of guy. He just got your goodies and he went back to her goodies. He's getting goodies from everywhere, because who knows that it's just you two that he's been getting goodies from. He could have been getting goodies from somebody else, because he's out. He don't have any issue about getting goodies from two different people, you know, in a very close amount of time. So who's to say that in between you and her, it's not somebody else? Like, and I mean, I don't think there was any protection involved, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. Because she was sitting there gushing about how good it was, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is what I was saying. Like, good smecks is great, right? But I think that some women, when it comes to purity culture, just a little bit, they only had some good smecks like one time in their life or something, and so they kind of get a little loco over a man who is chopped in the face, bad with his finances, disrespectful, dysregulates her nervous system. And it's like, at the end of yo, come on, like, if you were going to center a man, can you center a good one? Because I just feel like so often my standards versus women who center men, like, our standards are just so different. Because it's like, because I'm not going to invalidate the fact that I have heard a lot of women talk about how men can be a little nasty to them when they are not attracted to them, or a little bit just removed from their existence, and they feel invisible and not seen and all of that good stuff. And I'm not gonna act like I don't witness it. Because I'm hyper visible, because I have pretty privilege, I definitely have seen how women who, I understand the resentment that they feel, because they're being a slave, they're being a wife slave, they're being a whole appliance, they're putting up with disrespect, they're putting up with him, not investing into her, not treating her even like a kind person, even like a person that he likes. And it is really awkward to be around a couple where they have that dynamic, because to be honest, I try to stay away from couples like that as much as possible. I've had men who will openly flirt with me in front of their girl, and it's not a oh, because she's into it type of thing. It's like she just has no power in the relationship. She's fuming. He's obviously probably emotionally mistreating her. But I get sad when I'm around situations like that, but at the same time, I'm like, at the end of the day, baby girl, you gotta stand up. At a certain point, you gotta pick yourself up and stop taking your bad life choices out on me. Because what I can't stand is a girl who wants to be all up in my business, all up in my face, focused on me, is not trying to be a supporter. You're not trying to, be a gal pal. You're not trying to be one of the girlies. You are miserable and you want to take it out on everybody else. Like, I hate that. I'm like, I would love it if you were to just, like, be miserable at home and stay at home. And don't come to the gym, don't come to the spa, don't come to the workout class, don't come to work, don't come to the park, don't go on the cruise, don't go on the trip, don't go anywhere that I'm gonna be. Like, stay away from me. I cannot stand women like that. Oh my God. And it's like, I see it every day, how dusty it is. Like, I had some women try to tell me that, oh, she didn't have to worry about fidelity in her relationship because she basically said that she constantly surveils her man. And I'm like, babe, that is why your thyroid is out of control. That is why you are so large. That is why you are shaped like that. That is why you act like that. Because I cannot be with a man that I gotta watch. Like, I could not even want to, get freaky and nasty with a man that I feel like I have to watch all the time. Like that, after I done watched you all day and all night to make sure that you're being faithful, I am not going to have any energy to throw it back, to bounce on it, to, juggle it in my mouth. I don't have any energy to do any tricks. I'm not doing anything. I'm not spitting on it. I'm not spitting on it. I'm not doing a split on it. I'm not. After all that, like, that is just so, that makes me feel that's like a mother-son type of dynamic. Like, you have to watch him, like how as a parent you have to watch your kid at the park to make sure they're like not eating sand and not picking their nose, or like not picking another kid's nose, not picking up bugs and eating them. I don't want to have to watch you. You're a grown man. Like, I don't like that general um I don't like that general standard that some women will have, where it's just like, yeah, I just don't have an identity outside of my man, and that's how I ensure that he is faithful. Like, I cannot do that. Like, I can't imagine living a life where I'm with some man who doesn't like to eat the same food as me. He doesn't like to do the same activities as me. He doesn't want to vacation in the same places as me, or at all. And so I just don't achieve any of my dreams. I just don't check anything off of my bucket list, because I'm with old boy over here who can't keep it in his pants. He's subscribing to OnlyFans. He is, looking at other women. He's maybe stepping out behind you and actually being with the other women. He's not good with his emotions. He's not a good communicator. He's not good at, having an equitable share of the domestic duties. He's not good with his money. He's not good with his family. He's not good at parenting children. He's not good at maintaining friendships. He's not good with his family. He's not good at setting boundaries. He's not good at anything. Like, he's not good at anything. A lot of these men, they're not good. Like, the things that they're good at is like, I don't need to be with a man who is lacking in so many other areas to get those things done. Like, I was literally just saying, well, I'm not going to say that. But I want every woman to know that if you feel like you fit any of the things that I've described, just know that myself and women that I know, women that I've seen online, have been in similar spots too. And you don't have to stay there. You really don't have to stay there for the rest of your life. You don't have to be in misery for the rest of your life. You don't have to be with that man that you hate, that repulses you, for the rest of your life, who disrespects you. And the thing that's so crazy is, like, so many women who are male centered, they're trying to convince me to center men, and it's like, girl, literally, I see what being male centered got you. I don't want your life. I don't want your body. I don't want your vacation plans or lack thereof. I don't want your finances. I don't want your emotional state. I don't want your digestive system. I don't want your hormone balance or imbalance. I don't want your pH balance. I don't want your mental health quality. I don't want anything that you have, babe. And so please just stop, because there's nothing more sad and desperate than a woman who it's not that you're being mean to her, you just don't put her on a pedestal in any way, just because the things that you center in your life are just different than what she centers. You just don't. You wouldn't trade lives with her in any way. It's like me, I'm the type of girl where, I don't have any issue giving other women their flowers. I actually can be a bit of a fangirl, not all the time, but when there's a girl who is pretty, she's slaying, she's just that, like, I don't have any issue being like, oh yes, girl, honey, yeah, all of that. Like, so it's not that I just need to be the superior person, It's not that I'm a narcissist and, I feel like I'm just grandiose and better than everybody else. No, I have, oh my gosh, I have a multitude of women of all different ethnicities that I look up to in so many different ways. Women who are younger than me, women who are the same age as me, women who are older than me, women who are the same mix as me, women who don't look anything like me at all. I have so many. That's why it's been so, I would say, easy for me to social climb in certain situations, because I have no issue admitting that there is knowledge out there that I don't have, that there are skills out there that I have not acquired. And I feel like just that, you know, that type of mentality is going to help you social climb. Like, to be honest, if let's say you want to lose weight, you have to admit that you're not the expert on health and nutrition, obviously. So go find the experts. And don't go to the experts, the person who knows more than you, and try to downplay what they have going on. Like, I don't do that. I'm like, hey, you obviously know something I don't know. So put me on, girl. And you know, you can even do that with just seeking the knowledge from, you can anonymously go on YouTube and decide to look up creators who have a skill, a pedestal, a whatever, a privilege that you don't have yet, and learn from them. But if you perceive them and the first thing you want to do is neg them, you want to try to take them down a peg, you want to try to tell them about how they're not relatable, about how they don't speak to nobody, about how they think they're all that, you are never going to be all that. Then you're not, because you know how you get to be being all that is because, you know, a lot of the girls I've noticed who are male-centered, they don't think they're all that. And it's like the girls who decenter men, they think they're all that. Like, you want to say, I think I'm all that? Hell yeah! The girls that why would I not? I have worked so hard on myself. The type of people, the men and the women that I like to surround myself with, oh yeah, we all think we're all that. Because we are go-getters. Whatever it is that we get, whether it's healing, whether it's some money, whether it's a job, an opportunity, whether it's an experience, whether it's, you know, a certain type of friend group, a certain type of life, a certain type of privilege, whatever. Yeah, we're gonna admit, oh yeah, I want that, and I'm gonna go get it. Those are the type of people that light me up. That, you know, I like being around those problem-solving type of people. Those type of people who, you know, they believe, whether it's because they're manifesting, whether it's because they're going to get a degree, whether it's because they're going to free YouTube University. I like those type of people. They say, oh yeah, there's a problem that I have and I'm not the expert, and I'm going to go to the experts and I'm going to get the skills and I'm going to figure out how to fix it. And like, I can't, you know, I don't want to be around the type of people who, you know, why do you, if you feel as though, you know, your race holds you back or your ethnicity holds you back, why? What is it about it? Is it the space? Is it just the space that you in? Is it the do you have a very narrow scope of what you feel like being that color, what being black means? Do you feel like because I'm black, I have to be in this certain box, and I feel like this box of being ghetto and ratchet and knowing all of the movies and knowing all of the music and being monoculturally black, do you feel like that will keep you back from social climbing? Well, then that's not you being black that's holding you back from social climbing. It's what you think being black means you have to be. It's what you think being black means you have to be. But not everybody who's black feels like being black is going to hold them back. And typically the people who are going to feel like that, who feel as though they can still achieve whatever they want, is because they don't have this narrow scope of, I'm only allowed to eat collard greens and chitlins, and I only can watch Friday, and I can only listen to hip hop, and I can only live in Atlanta, and I can only wear my natural hair, and I can only wear no makeup, and I can I'm not an only type of person. And a lot of those people who, you know, when a woman, what do I want to say? When a woman is sitting there and being male-centered, her life is it is only what this man wants to do, only where this man wants to take me, only the restaurants he wants to go to, only the activities he wants to do. He only wants to watch football on Sundays, so on Sunday we're not doing anything. I'm just cooking for him and his friends and getting the snacks prepared for football. I'm just cooking for what he wants to eat. I'm only eating burgers on a Wednesday because he likes burgers on Wednesdays. I'm only ever going to get Chinese food once a year because he only wants to take me to get Chinese food once a year. I'm only ever gonna go to Montana. I'm never gonna make it to Montego Bay because he doesn't want to go down there. He doesn't want to leave the United States. He doesn't want to get our passports. I can't do that. And it's hard being around women who feel like they are so limited when you feel like you are limitless, because you make them short circuit. When they see you, when they perceive you, they're confused. They don't understand what they're seeing, because when they see that you have decentered men and that you are fulfilled, you're happy, you are glowing, it makes them question their choices. Like, I was told that if I center men, then I'm going to get blah, blah, blah. But this man is incompetent. This man is inconsiderate. This man is a terrible communicator. This man stresses me out. I gained, 60 pounds since I got with this man. I'm the least healthy that I've been in my entire life when I got with him. I was not depressed before I got with him. I had hopes and dreams before I got with him. But, at a certain point, to the women who are my worldies and who watch my content and who are over here in this entire space, this entire sphere, sometimes you gotta cut the dead weight, you gotta cut the fat, in the sense of course, taking care of your health and losing the weight if you need to, but you gotta leave them behind. Like, you are not Mother Teresa. You don't need to be a social justice warrior. You don't need to wake all the women up. You can clap back at the women who decide to use their misery as their excuse for coming after you. Yes, you can clap back. And you can just shine harder. And you don't have to be friends with them. And you don't have to listen to them complain about the same issue. And you don't have to feed their delusions. You don't have to give them pity privilege. You don't have to, try to make them feel like, you feel like everybody is so beautiful, and and you think that their life is great, and you don't have to care. You can pay them dust. You can keep it pushing, you can keep it moving, you can step over them hoes and just keep it moving, because they're always just going to try to slow you down. You need to keep that type of woman away from you and get around the type of women that you want to learn from. I've said so many times before to myself, but even in my real life, that I always want to be the type of person that when I step into a room, I can learn and I can soak up. A lot of people, they have a very shaky sense of self. It's very hard for them to be a small fish in a big sea. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for them to be around other people who have skills and talents that they don't have, because their sense of self is based on maybe being the biggest fish in a very little pond. But if you really want to grow, if you really want to social climb, you need to start getting into those spaces where there is value for you to extract. Because if you're the expert in every room that you walk into, you can't gain anything from the other people. You need to get into some rooms where you're not the expert. You need to go get around a bunch of experts. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, whatever areas of your life you want to social climb in, get around other people who have those same goals as you, who have already achieved some of your dreams and some of your hopes, so that you can see that, one, it exists, it's possible. She did it, I can do it. He did it, so so can I. Why can't I do it if it's right there? If so-and-so who lives in the same country as me, who lives in the same state as me, who is the same age as me could do it, why can I not do it? And then you need to stop making excuses and learn how to really separate yourself from certain people. You're going to need to separate yourself from certain people. You're going to need to isolate and cut off and move and whatever you need to do. You're going to need to keep it pushing. You're going to need to, have certain people just become the background noise in your life. The same way that you see a celebrity, they get out of the limousine and they have their shades on. There's all these people saying, Beyonce, Beyonce, oh my God, what's going on? Tell me about Blue Ivy. Tell me about Jay-Z. Tell me about the album. Tell me about your hair. And you see how a lot of them, sometimes they're nice when they decide to stop and say something or whatever, but a lot of times they keep it pushing. You need to start feeling like that when it comes to those people who are just looking to basically be energy vampires and just try to take from you and extract your joy. They want to bring you down a notch. They want to examine you and everything. They just want to analyze and dissect you. And, it's one thing to admire somebody and give them their pedestal. It's an entire different thing to want to invade their privacy, to feel entitled to information about their relationships, about who they're sleeping. Like, it's crazy. When you are the woman on a pedestal, people really feel entitled to know every damn thing about you. That's why I said before, can you get from between my legs? Like, it's none of your business. People feel so entitled to knowing who the pretty girl is sleeping with, who the pretty girl is dating, who the pretty girl has dated, how she decides to date, who, is a part of her dating pool, who she decides is not good enough for her. It's none of your business, because don't ask me certain questions if you don't want to know the answer to. Because a lot of these women who are male-centered, it's like, babe, it's not your man. It's not him. And a lot of them, they know that. I think a lot of them, they can easily see, like when they see that you are male, or when they see that you're decentered from men, they understand, I think instinctively, that their man is not good enough for you, because they know that their man is average at best. They know that you can pick their man up off of any street. And so they're like, okay, so she could be, living a life like me and get a man just like mine, but she's choosing not to? Oh, I must have done something wrong. Oh, she must feel like she's better than me. Oh, she doesn't want my life. Oh, my life is not aspirational to her. And it's like, yeah, babe, if I were you, I would stop centering me. Because that's the thing. It's like, if they were not so pressed about what you have going on as the pretty girl, as the one on the pedestal, then they wouldn't keep getting their feelings hurt and have so much animosity for, like, they have animosity and the silent one-sided beef and whatnot. It's because you're in my business too much, girl. Mind your business. Mind the business that pays you. Because at the very least, if you're gonna be all up in my business, at least please start like a hate train or a hate bandwagon, or like get paid off of being in my business or something. Like, please do that. Like, if being in my business is not even paying you, like, at least the paparazzi get to sell those pictures of the celebrities. Like, what are you getting out of being in my business? Because you're not even trying to learn. Half of these girls, I always have a big back who wants to try to argue with me about health and fitness. Girl, I didn't even start this conversation. You the one who want to talk about this. You're gonna get your feelings hurt trying to talk to me about that. Trying to downplay what I got going on or whatever. Trying to make it seem, girl, I done dealt with some girls where it's like, yo, you lucky. You are so lucky that I try to save my shadow for my channel. Because it's like, girl, I will really hurt your feelings right now. And I'm not even that type of girl. Like, and then, man, I come over here to y'all and I talk my shit. Cause it's like, girl, I don't need, cause I don't see, like I said, I mind the business that pays me or whatever. It pays me to observe these women out in the wild and just come make content about it. I'm now monetized, so it pays me to talk this shit. Is it paying you to talk that shit, to be in my business, to be in my life, to be worried about what I got going on, girl? Don't worry. Just be happy I'm not fucking your man. Be happy. Man, these girls want to be in your business. Man. So many girls I'll be wanting to say, man, don't worry about who I'm fucking. Just be happy I'm not fucking your man. But what do you think, worldies? Have you ever dealt with a woman who is male-centered, who's just all up in your business? And, like, have you ever